What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and it's 8:10 when you guys are watching today's show because the Jets waited all day to put out their final 53-man roster, but we got it, and there's some big shockers, especially at the wide receiver position. So we'll talk about it all on today's show, but we're just a step closer to the regular season for the New York Jets, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, week 1 of the 2025 NFL season. And if you guys are fired up for it, light up the comment section and give me a me down below. I can't wait. This game is going to feel like a playoff game for Jets fans, and it's going to be exciting time. So if you guys are fired up about it, hit me with a me down below in the comment section, and we'll give you guys a shout out on a future show. All right, we're going to start off offensively, and then we'll get to the defense on this tail half of today's show. But offensively, the Jets decided to only keep 2 quarterbacks. So that means Adrian Martinez and Brady Cook got cut from the roster. But obviously, you got Justin Fields, QB1, and Tyrod Taylor as QB2. Now, I will say, watch out for Mike White. He was let go of the Buffalo Bills. If the Jets, have a little bit of a question mark with the Tyrod Taylor injury, maybe they use their waiver claim on Mike White. But if you do use a waiver claim, this is a key note. They have to make the 53-man roster, so that means somebody else would have to get cut. But the Jets right now are keeping 2 quarterbacks, that being Tyrod and Fields. And then the running back position, no shockers here. Brees Hall, RB1, Braylon Allen, RB2, Isaiah Davis, RB3, and then you do see Kene Nwangwu making the team along with Andrew Beck. Now, I thought Kene Nwangwu was the biggest wild card in the Jets running back room. Now, once we get to wide receivers here, you'll see why that the Jets decided to keep Kene. Obviously, his kick returning ability is huge. Had a great year last year. They're hoping he can build on that, and he probably won't see the field too much offensively, but as a special teams guy, Kene definitely has some value. But maybe saying, well, why is Kene the kick returner? Well, the Jets decided to cut all 3 UDFA wide receivers that fans were falling in love with, that being Quentin Skinner, Brandon Smith, and then the return specialist, Jamal Pritchett. So the Jets decided to keep 6 guys in this room: Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, Alan Lazard, and then Xavier Gibson. Bit of a shocker. He ended up making the team, but he is the 6th wide receiver to make it, along with Arian Smith. So if I was the Jets, I would have went with Jamal Pritchett, but clearly they like Xavier Gibson. They like his story. He does fit in the mold of an Aaron Glenn guy, so I see the intrigue there. But I would have rather just gone Pritchett. Dude looked amazing during the preseason, but they just viewed Xavier Gibson as a better player than Pritchett as it stands right now. Now to the tight end room here. Thought there was a chance Jeremy Ruckert would get cut, and he very well could not be on this team week 1. Jelani Woods, Indianapolis Colts tight end, was actually waived today, and he is a better tight end in my opinion than Jeremy Ruckert. So maybe they go Woods, and then they just cut Ruckert as a correspondent move. But Mason Taylor is going to have to be huge in this tight end room. We've been talking about it all offseason. He needs to be huge just in the passing game, because if I had to pick who's second in receiving yards on the Jets this upcoming season, it's Mason Taylor. So he's going to have a big-time year. Also, don't sleep on Stone Smart having a couple of good games for this Jets offense this upcoming season. But the offensive line, they decided to bulk up there. They kept 10 offensive linemen, and you see that starting unit looking good. I will say that 5-man unit for the Jets offensive line, if they can stay healthy, build that continuity, build that chemistry, this should be one of the better groupings in the National Football League. It honestly comes down to Fashanu and Membu. Can they pop in year 2 for Fashanu, and obviously in the rookie year for Membu? But Marquise Hayes, Josh Myers, Xavier Newman, Mitchell, and Okorafor round out the backups for the Jets offensive line. So I'll ask you guys this, and I'm assuming I'm going to see a lot of Jamal Pritchett's, a lot of Quentin Skinners, some Brandon Smiths in there, but which cut shocked you the most? For me, it has to be Jamal Pritchett. I thought when, earlier today we got the reports that Brandon Smith, Quentin Skinner weren't going to make the team. I thought that guaranteed Pritchett spot, but they wanted to keep Xavier Gibson. I disagree with the move, but the Jets, are high on the guys. So you guys let me know which cut shocked you the most. Drop that name in the comment section. Now we'll get to the defensive side of the football for the New York Jets here in just a sec. But today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, and the football season is almost here, but the college football season is here. So don't miss any of the action this season on Prize Picks. And if you guys download the Prize Picks app today, plug in that promo code CLNS. We'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is simple to play. All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. And speaking about the football season, week 1, Thursday night, Cowboys taking on the Eagles. They got a free winner for you guys for one Dak Prescott passing yard. We'll get you guys one free win on PrizePicks, so make sure you guys include that into all of your lineups. It is their max discount, so put that in there. You guys can get some real cheddar in your back pocket. So download the PrizePicks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you put your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you put your first $5 lineup. But shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, let's talk about the defensive side of the football here. The Jets loaded up on the offensive line, but they also did the same with the defensive line. They kept 11 players in the trenches on the defensive side of the football, and I will say this graphic looks sweet now with Harrison Phillips being in the fold. That four-man front for the Jets should do big-time things this year. We're expecting Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson to have, breakout years or just build on what they've been doing over the past couple of seasons, and Quentin Williams, hopefully he can get back to being the best interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. And then Harrison Phillips, one of the best run stoppers in the league, can really two-gap like the best of them in the NFL. So I got high expectations for this group. Tufele made the team. Lawrence Taylor, obviously a preseason winner here. And, Michael Clemens making the team yet again. But I like this unit for the Jets. I got high expectations for them, especially the main four you see on screen right now. Like those four, if they have big-time years, this defense should get back to what they were, back in that 2023 season. But let's talk about the linebacker group here. Jets actually decided to keep 6 guys. Now, Weston is on injured reserve, so he's going to have to miss at least the first 4 games. But McCrary Ball making the team, Zaire Barnes, Kiko Maugoa, and then obviously you got the 2 main at the front, Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood. And, kind of like what I'm saying about the defensive line, I'm saying about the linebacking core here. You got to really bank on your top 2 guys, playing at Pro Bowl, all-pro levels this upcoming season. I think they got the potential to. Like Sherwood, Williams, they're some of the best in the game. They fly around the football field. And if the Jets, if the key with this defense this year, can you stop the run? If they can stop the run, they should be a top-tier defense in the league because you have those pass rushers on the outside. You actually have some talent in the secondary that, if you can only ask them to hold up for like 3 seconds, that unit should be very productive this season. So I'm looking at the linebackers on early downs. Be aggressive. Can you stop the run? Going to be a big question mark for this unit. But the cornerback room here, obviously got Sauce Gardner highlighting the room along with Brandon Stevens and Michael Carter. I honestly like that 3-man group you have. Obviously, a big question mark is Brandon Stevens. Looked very good in the preseason, but even if he does struggle, like you got a guy like A.Z. Thomas who can fill in, even a guy like Stiggers. I would have some faith in him filling in as well. Can also play some slot. But with Sauce Gardner, Michael Carter, Sauce, one of the best outside corners in the league. Michael Carter, one of the better slot guys in the NFL. Got high hopes for this unit as well. And then the safety room. I thought there was a chance the Jets were only going to keep 3 here, but they decided to keep 4 at being Oliver as well. But right now, Tony Adams is listed as a starter, but we've been saying this on the channel for a long time. Watch out for Malachi Moore eventually taking over as a starting safety next to Andre Sisco if Tony Adams doesn't play too good a ball early on in the season. But, hey, specialists matter too. Unfortunately, the thicker kicker, Harrison Mevis, lost the kicking battle to Nick Folk. Jets gave him $3 million, so, that was no big of a shocker there. But Austin McNamara will be punting, Thomas Hennessy, and then the kick returner and punt returner. Kick returner going to Kene Wangu, and then the punt returner going to Xavier Gibson. I'll say this on Xavier Gibson, and I fully mean to call him out here. They made a decision to keep you over a guy like Jamal Pritchett. You have to at least make a play in the first month of the season. And I'm not saying you got to house a punt or you got to, completely take one back to the crib, but you got to at least make a play. Like, you got to flip the field at least one time over the first 4 months, or all of us are going to be looking at a guy like Jamal Pritchett. What are we doing? Let's just elevate him, assuming he does make the practice squad. But I just thought that was an interesting decision. I disagree with it, but, maybe they see something in Gibson that, we don't see every day at practice. But here are some practice squad candidates for you guys. Now, I'm assuming all of these guys will return. Maybe the 2 guys that could get picked up on waivers are a Quentin Skinner or Brandon Smith or even a Jamal Pritchett. Like, if a team has a need at the punt returner position, maybe they view Pritchett as a guy that can fill in. But I expect Brady Cook to be the practice squad quarterback, to be the emergency third QB on game days. Donovan Edwards, I'm assuming he'll come back And then same with Peyton Page and Dean Clark. But those three receivers, Brandon Smith, Quentin Skinner, Jamal Pritchett, it wouldn't shock me if another team scoops one of those guys up and, they're making big time plays this season. I was huge on all three of those guys. It looked great during the first three preseason games. So there were some shockers with the Jets roster, but still looking good. Like, I will say, the Jets roster is not as bad as people think. So if you guys made it to the end of today's show, hit me with the Go Jets down below in the comments section. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. See you guys next time. Go Jets.